Now, to put this into practice, just to kind of give you an example here of how this can be used, this scoring system, what I'm showing here is the heat map. And I've loaded up a day of activity from back in 2021. We're looking purely at spoofing here. And what you see on the heat map here is that this particular trader has a very large square. But it's lightly shaded. And the reason that it's lightly shaded is because even though the trader is generating a lot of what we call clusters of activity, okay, a cluster is essentially a grouping or a segment of their order audit trail data that they are generating through their trading activity throughout the day. Even though they have the largest volume of clusters that are being generated here, there's an average score of only 6.34, which is why even though the square is large, it's lightly shaded. We don't want our users focusing their time and energy on this activity to begin their day. This is where, in a lot of the other systems that are out there, you may find yourself kind of in a quagmire of false positive alerts. That's what we want to avoid. And instead, we're going to point our users to this little red shaded square. Because even though there are only 3 clusters in this particular square, there's an average score of 93.3. Okay, so this is the needle in the haystack within this data set that we want our users to be aware of when they log into TT Score in the morning and be able to show them this visually to make sure that they're being as efficient as possible with their daily reviews. Okay, and that is the practical application of machine learning to trade surveillance that we're able to provide in TT Score. Once you've identified that needle in the haystack, you can click on the square. It will bring you directly to the alerts that comprise that square. Once you get into this screen, you now get tools to investigate this activity yourself, because the score is just pointing you in the direction of where an issue may lie. It's not making a legal statement that spoofing has in fact occurred here, okay? What we still rely on the human expert to make that determination, and we provide tools within the alerts here for you to conduct your investigation. And just very quickly, because I want to jump into the cross-product capabilities here, we're just giving some statistical metrics here at the top of the screen. We're giving the audit trail data here at the bottom of the screen. We're color coding it so that people can quickly see what the events were within the alert. And then we are also allowing the user here to replay the activity in the context of the market on a replica of the TT trading ladder, okay? And for those of you who are not familiar with the trading ladder, what you see here, and I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger here just so that everybody can see very clearly here on the right side of the screen. Each one of these red columns here in the asks section, each one of these numbers, that is all market participants' quantities combined at those price levels on the sell side of the order book. The black line is where the top of book is. And then down below, the blue squares here, those are the buy quantities for all market participants combined at those buy prices here in the order book. Okay. And now what you see here in the work column, that's the trader in questions quantities. And what you see so far is that the trader added a 50 lot sell order at the price of 49.06. Okay, and then got filled on 5 contracts. And now you're seeing that reflected here in the ladder as well. And so you see the trader still working 45, sold 5, and is 45 of a total 46 contracts at that price in this particular moment within this cluster. Okay, and now what you can do is now step through the events within the cluster. And I'm just taking my mouse and moving forward in time here. And what you see is everything in the screen here is going to update in unison, okay? And as I move forward, I'm going to get to a point in this chart where we come to a diamond, okay? And this chart, what this chart is reflecting here, we call it a pressure chart, is what we're visualizing here is where a trader may be using a large order on one side of the market or orders and using this type of large volume on one side of the order book in order to potentially create book pressure in order to influence other market participants in order to get filled on smaller orders on the opposite side of the market. Okay, and the diamond in this chart is a very critical piece of the analysis and what we provide here in here, because this is where what occurs at the point of the diamond is what we call an imbalanced fill. Okay, and you can see now what I mean by that is that at that point in time, the trader still has the 45 on the sell side, puts in a smaller buy order for 5 contracts here, and gets filled right away on one contract on that smaller buy order. Okay. And then in the chart, you can see that the red line here goes down quickly. What that's indicating there is right after that imbalanced fill is received, the trader's going to cancel the 45 that was resting there on the sell side. Okay. And that cancel occurs within about 3.5 seconds or so. So it's fairly quick, typical type of manual trading activity here. And ultimately, this is what would be somewhat classified potentially as a traditional spoofing pattern where the trader's using that large order to potentially influence other market participants.